how viable is TikTok for your average e-commerce brand, I guess?
Right. Is there like a, hey, if this is you, it's not viable? Like, in your opinion, I have my own, right? But like, if this is you, it's not viable. If this is you, here's how you utilize it, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is like demo. So if your people are majority 35, 30 and older, probably not a huge investment for you right now. Just like when we look at platform usage and who's on it. I think it's like the stat that I pulled the other day from like Business Insider or something was like the average TikTok user is spending like 5 hours looking at content a day, but they are teens to like 20, early 20s, 23-ish maybe. So like that is a prime opportunity if you're in that demo for TikTok. If you're not, stick with where those people live, which could be Facebook, it could be display, following them around. Like you got to know based on your vertical. The other thing for me that's really critical is if your product is not visually interesting in any possible way, i.e. it is not a consumable that someone can eat and appear delighted, or it's not, I call it goopy, but like if your beauty or skincare isn't goopy enough to create some sort of like interesting visual, things like that, like it's just not going to perform on TikTok, because TikTok is this like very sensory oriented platform.
Yeah.
Turnover on TikTok creative testing is fast. Not so much on Facebook like it used to be. And one of the trends that I was going to call to mind is I scoped through 10, 15 of our top performing, fastest growing brands. If you look at their campaign structures and look at their ad creative, it's almost entirely static product photography. It's like beautiful high-res statics with some text overlays. And so sometimes they're doing a little bit of optimization on like which of the 3 statics that are going to be top performing, or which of the 3 copy overlays, like the power quotes, are going to perform best. But Facebook has definitely, people have simplified their creative testing, I think, because costs are much higher there now. And then TikTok is like crazy creative testing land, like bonkers, because costs are lower.
Absolutely. That's the misconception that we deal with all the time on the agency side, is that, brands think that they need to be testing more and that'll make them more efficient, which in a certain view it's true, but not initially. Not like, hey, these new creatives we're rolling out are guaranteed to be the new best thing in the ad accounts, which I was surprised that a lot of brands, they think that way, and it's like, hey, you have these proven winners. When things get tough, you kind of need to lean more into the proven winners, maybe dial down testing a little bit. But you're absolutely right. Everything we've seen on TikTok supports what you're saying. Just crazy turnover on ads. Trends live and die in a matter of weeks or days even. So things are just kind of popping 1 second and then no more popping. Where'd the pop go?
And Facebook had all of like this basically abundance of really qualified traffic, or this abundance of users, right? Like just tons and tons of users that they had enough data on to know who was qualified and would buy. But like from a macro trend level, as more people have advertised on the platform, on Facebook, Instagram, Meta, whatever we want to call it now, as more people have done that, that's driven the cost of advertising up, especially to those high quality users. And if, I know in like our latest data that I've looked at, like in macro trends, it's like a lot of the best performing brands on Facebook have AOVs in like the $95 to $115 range, which is not, that's not impulse purchase land, right? Like most people aren't just like, yeah, I got, I'll drop $100 on that. Like, even if they have it, it's like, you take a second. You don't just drop $100 on something usually. Even if it, even if it's like, well, why don't we just target people with disposable income? I'm like, I mean, they got that way somehow, and it wasn't by just, spending money. Yeah. If there's an overabundance of advertisers, who's going to get edged out, right? It's not, it's going to be the people who are really usually selling more impulse purchase products.
Yeah, I wish I pulled the data for you. I thought about doing it, but then I didn't want to roast Snapchat. Bleak. Basically, when Instagram stories came out, it killed Snapchat. That's like the TLDR on that one. Because it was, and now like Be Real, which is really interesting. Be Real is trying to kill Instagram. Did I say Instagram Reels? I mean Instagram stories, but Be Real is trying to kill Instagram stories. That's a whole separate conversation. That's a whole nother soapbox I'd love to get on. But they just didn't have like unique enough features. And so now their usage is really heavily based in like their messaging features because they disappear, which is sketchy. I think the most efficient and like fastest growing brands that we have on board right now, they're converting most of their customers at touch point, somewhere between touch point 2 and 4, usually around 3 and 4. Right. And so TikTok is just part of that journey for them. And for many, it's like either TikTok or Facebook was first. The other one comes second, Facebook or Instagram. The other one comes second, and then maybe it's one more ad. Often it's email or SMS, which is one of the kind of trends that I want to talk about as well. We're seeing a lot of those actual conversions come through email and SMS after folks have kind of been hit with a couple ads, but nothing works like Facebook used to, where you like put money in, take money out. Like any brands that I see that have like really high actual conversion rates at first touch point from a Facebook ad, I'm like, literally, what crack are you putting in those ads? Like, that's not normal anymore.
Right.
And so, for me, I have been thinking way more holistically about digital marketing ever since I started at Triple Whale, just kind of looking at this data. And now I don't even really think about ad spend in the same way that I used to. It's my brain kind of operates in like MER now. And we also provide like multiple different attribution models. I am using our linear one, which like splits your basically your ROI across all the channels that were a touch point along the journey. And for most people, TikTok is just a part of that journey that ultimately helps people convert, because people are just taking way longer these days, man. DR advertising, direct response, just doesn't work like it used to.